and welcome to Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. We've got high school baseball, high school basketball, Georgia Southern baseball, Georgia Southern basketball, all on tap for the Georgia Southern baseball team. They got things underway this past weekend, hosting West Virginia for a 3-game series. They were able to win 2 out of 3 against the West Virginia Mountaineers. Then on Tuesday, they host Georgia Tech and fell in that game by a final of 8-6. The Eagles hosting ETSU coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As for the Georgia Southern men's and women's basketball team, the women over the weekend were able to win on Thursday and Saturday. As for the guys, they were able to win on Wednesday. They have a Wednesday and then a Friday. Will wrap up the regular season as they prepare for the Sun Belt Championships. They were able to knock off Coastal Carolina. On Wednesday, we'll have highlights from the women's games and the guys' game on Wednesday for you. On the high school front, the state playoffs have begun. We also have some region championship games to bring you from the Bulloch Academy Gators. The women were able to win that, and then the guys from Portal were able to win their region championship at Jenkins County. Both of them advanced to the state. The Portal Panthers then were able to win this week and advance to, with a win on Wednesday at home against Truetland County, advance to the second round of the state, which will take place at Portal on Saturday. The Bulloch Academy girls, with a bye, advanced to the second round of the state. They'll get things underway Friday. We'll have highlights from the Friday game and Saturday game for you next week. As for the Statesboro Blue Devils, both the boys and the girls knocked out of the state playoffs. Southeast Bulloch's girls fell as well on the road, but the boys, a big win over Whitewater. They escaped with a 2-point victory. The first state playoff win for the Yellow Jackets since 2001. We'll have some highlights from the basketball. Also had some baseball action going on in and around town. All that and more coming up on Upon Further Review. And a reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com. McCooks Pharmacy, located on Highway 80 East, is family owned and operated by Lynn and Janie McCook, as well as their son, Josh McCook. Serving the Bulloch County area since 2005, McCooks Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service where the customers come first. Vaccinations are available, including shingles, flu, pneumonia, and Tdap. Drive-through service is available with 2 drive-through windows for your convenience. McCooks Pharmacy offers free local deliveries, and new customers are always welcome. Continuing the tradition of our family caring for your family, McCooks Pharmacy, Highway 80 East. Well, the Georgia Southern men's and women's basketball teams both in action over this past week. The guys playing a Wednesday-Friday game. We'll have some highlights from the Wednesday win over Coastal. The women were able to win Thursday and Saturday of this past week. Let's take you out first off for some highlights from men's and women's basketball at Hanner. Of the season at Hanner, hosting Marshall Thursday, Taryn Ward starts things off with the bucket. Next, it's Eden Johnson pulling up and hitting this one. And then Janiah Love Hill driving to the basket for 2 more. Eagles up by 5. Johnson pulls the trigger from long distance. Georgia Southern continuing to try and pull away. The nice dish inside to Simone James. And then good look here to Lydia Freeman for the hoop and the foul. Love Hill later getting the and one as she drives in. Back we go inside to Freeman for 2 more. Marshall trying to keep it close with a few 3-pointers, but Georgia Southern too much. Ward pulls up, gets this one to go. And finally, it's Andrea Rister as the Eagles hold on to win 63-61. Senior night on Saturday, the Eagles in Coastal Carolina, and the 3 Eagles seniors being recognized before the game with a tearful Coach Anita Howard joining them. Speaking of seniors, Janiah Love Hill starts the scoring. Marshall trying to keep it close, but this one off the mark. Love Hill in transition finds her senior teammate Leandria Gillis for 3 of her 15. Andrea Rister later inside. Taya Gibson off the mark. They'll reset the offense and get it to Gillis. Top of the key 3. The Eagles trying to pull away. Eventually here, Taryn Ward hits, and Georgia Southern wins 75-66. The Georgia Southern Eagles hosting Coastal Carolina Wednesday evening. The Eagles start things off from outside. A good game for Andre Savrasov. Later, it's Kamari Brown. He connects for 3. The Eagles taking a 5-point halftime lead. Second half, Georgia Southern looking to pull away. It's Jalen Finch spotting up and knocking down the 3. Next, inside, Johnny McFadden battles for the hoop and the foul, and then inside again, Carlos Curry steps outside and hits the jumper, and the Eagles win 76-68. Well, up next, the guys will wrap the season up on Friday at 7 o'clock. The women in action as well, as they'll be wrapping things up, getting ready for the Sun Belt Tournament next week. The baseball team will play a 4 o'clock game coming up because of the 7 o'clock basketball game. They'll be hosting ETSU for the first of a 3-game series Friday late afternoon. They were in action to open up the season this past weekend, hosting West Virginia for a 3-game series. And then over on Tuesday, they were hosting Georgia Tech at J.I. Clements. Let's send you out for some highlights. Everyone excited about a packed house for Georgia Southern baseball's season opener against West Virginia Friday. On the mound, Ty Fisher bringing the heat here with the strikeout. In the second, more from Fisher with a runner on first. And second, a strikeout to end the inning. Fisher adding to his strikeout total. He'd have 7 in 4 innings of work, but would give up a pair of runs. Moving ahead, WVU up 2-1 in the 5th. The Mountaineers make it 3-1 on the sacrifice fly by Grant Hussey. But the Eagles able to shut them down from there. Javon Ray with the strikeout. The Eagles manufacturing a run here in the 7th on the bunt hit by Jesse Sherrill to cut the lead to 3-2. And then it's Noah Ledford, the batter, and he comes through on the right side of the plate with the 2-run single to left as the Eagles grab a 4-3 lead. The bullpen does the rest. Only 1 run in 5 innings with 6 strikeouts as the Eagles win by a final count of 4-3. We move ahead to Saturday. Georgia Southern sporting the leather as Jarrett Brown turns the 5-4 double play to end the inning. On the mound, Ben Johnson mowing them down. He'd scatter 4 hits over 5 innings, allowing 1 run with 7 strikeouts. Tied at 1 in the 5th, Noah Ledford, the deep drive to center. This one brings home Sherrill from third for a 2-1 Eagle lead. Later same inning, Jonathan Jamie will reach here on an error, and Sam Blancato scores for a 3-1 Georgia Southern advantage to the 6th. And Jesse Sherrill will single to right. Kyler Hultgren scores to make it 4-1. And then Jay Thompson finishes things off with the strikeout as the Eagles win 6-2. To Sunday we go, and the Eagles looking for the sweep. Things start out nicely. Eagle freshman Zachary Harris, his first collegiate start here with the strikeout, and then with a runner on third, the strikeout to end the inning. He gets some run support as Noah Ledford, the batter, with one on. And he'll take this one for a ride up, up, and away over the Blue Monster. The 2-run shot. Unfortunately, from there, it was all Mountaineers. Landon Wallace, the batter. He'll take this one up, up, and away to left as West Virginia goes on to win by a final count of 13-4. A couple famous Eagles on hand. Younghoe Koo and Tyler Bass. Georgia Southern hosting Georgia Tech. Bass up first. A little low and away. Not bad. And then it was Koo's turn. And this one just a little low. Maybe next year they'll do an opening kick instead of opening pitch. Jalen Payton on the mound showing them how it's done. He gets the strikeout in the first. The Eagles giving him plenty of run support. Noah Ledford walking with the bases loaded. Starts the scoring. It's 1-0. Next, Zane Falk with the double down the left field line. And it's 3-0 Eagles. Jared Brown will ground into the double play. But Ledford comes home to score to make it 4-0. Blake Evans keeps things rolling with the single into right. Falk comes home and it's 5-0. Tech coming back. Jaden Jackson, the single into right. Jack Rubenstein, the nice slide under the tag to cut the lead to 5-1. Tyler Minnick then with a big blast. This one clears the wall for a 3-run shot. Tech gets within a run at 5-4. Sam Blancato helps the Eagles scratch back for a run in the second with the double down the left field line to make it 6-4. But Tech responds again in the fifth, down by 1. Nicholas Romano with the 3-run homer to left, as the Eagles fall by a final count of 8-6. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, the ETSU Buccaneers coming in for a 3-game series starting Friday at 4 o'clock. Stay with us. High school action coming up next. Wildflower Farms, located on Old Register Road in Statesboro, is a unique rental property for those visiting the Statesboro area. Located on a beautiful 6 acres just off the beaten path, Wildflower Farms has 4 bedrooms, including a game room and full kitchen, as well as an outdoor fire pit, and comfortably sleeps 8 to 10 people. And for those who may be in town for a show or rodeo at the Ag Center, a horse B&B is coming soon with 6 stalls and plenty of room to run in the adjacent pasture. Also available for events as well, you can book through Airbnb or call 912-536-7787 for more information. Well, on the high school front, the Portal Panthers, the Bulloch Academy girls, and the Southeast Bulloch boys have all advanced in the state playoffs. Before we get to the Portal Panthers action from Wednesday, let's send you back for Bulloch Academy at Pinewood in their region championship and Portal at Jenkins County for their region championship. The Portal Panthers searching for their 3rd straight region title, taking on Jenkins County in Millen. Amir Jackson starts the scoring with the hoop and 1. But the Panthers struggling from the field for most of the game. Meanwhile, the Eagles were on fire. Marcus Golphin drives for 2. And the foul, Elijah Coleman keeping Portal in the game. The step-back 3-pointer. Jenkins County up 3 after 1 quarter of play. The shooting issues continue in the second quarter. And the Eagles trying to pull away themselves. DeMontre Moore for 3. Coleman later spots Marion Trimble as Portal cuts the lead to 5. Then Coleman blows past the defense for another bucket. Joseph Thomas off the mark, but Jackson the rebound and the putback. A nice second quarter off the bench for Tucker Chester here inside for 2. But Jenkins tossing in some crazy three-pointers like this one from Marion Young. Coleman again keeping the Panthers within striking distance. But everything falling the Eagles' way. James Allen off the rebound at the buzzer, and Jenkins County would take a 4-point halftime lead. In the third, Coach Brandon consoling a struggling Joe Thomas, and he'd respond with a key basket to give Portal a 1-point lead, and they'd never trail again. Coleman, the pull-up 3. Jackson inside gets blocked, but stays with it for 2 more. And then again, Coleman breezes through for 2 more of his 22 points. Jackson starting to take over inside. Portal up by 6. Bryce Clifton later off the steal, coming through and finishing with the acrobatic layup. Thomas then coming through with the finishing touch as Portal goes on to win by a final of 61-50. Bulloch Academy and Pinewood in the region championship in Belleville. The Patriots hanging tough in the first half, keeping it close. But Bulloch Academy pulling away from there. Ashante Noble spots up, knocks down the three-pointer. Later, Noble over to Armani Cook in the far corner for the 3. The Gators pull away behind solid defense. Cook the steal, and she goes coast to coast as BA wins their 3rd straight title, 56-26. The Portal Panthers opening up the state playoffs at home Wednesday night against Trutland County. Amir Jackson gets things going with a bang with the dunk. Next, it's Joseph Thomas in the corner spotting up and hitting the 3 ball. Trutland would hang around. Jordan Coney hits the 3. Portal right back. Marion Trimble from Jackson. And then on the break, Coleman finds Trimble for 2 more. He'd have 15 points in the game. Joseph Thomas pulls up, drains another jumper. He'd end up with 21, leading the way for the Panthers. And then check out the defense. Elijah Coleman gets way up for the block. Back on offense we go. And it's Tucker Chester ripping it from 16 feet out. And then the outlet to Trimble, beating the defense back once again. Tucker Chester with a big second quarter. He'd have 8 points. Nice move here. And then Joseph Thomas, the turnaround jumper. He buries that. Portal by 8. Chester again. He goes up, scores again for the Panthers. And then it's Thomas pulling up. A rainbow 2. Portal up by 12. Trutland comes back thanks to the long ball. They'd end up cutting the lead to 6. Portal right back. Thomas again. Finding Trimble this time, though. The nice layup. And then it's Bryce Clifton, the acrobatic bucket. Portal leading 38-26 at the half. To the second half we go. Elijah Coleman starts to catch fire. He beats everyone down for the layup. And then it's Coleman again, pulling up the soft jumper. He'd have 13 points in the second half. Coleman kicking it over to Trimble for the three-pointer. And then it's Coleman inside. Amir Jackson, the dunk. He'd end up with 15 points as well, but would foul out with 5 minutes left. Coney keeping Trutland in the game. They'd trail by only 3 at the end of the third. In the fourth, Thomas, a big three-pointer for Portal. Then it's Thomas once again. He gets this one to go. But Trutland coming back. They'd cut the lead to 2. In the long run, Portal starts to pull away thanks to Coleman blowing past the defense here. And then again, it's Coleman going to the bucket. Portal up by 6, and for the finishing touch, Joseph Thomas pulls up for 2 more. Portal advances, winning 77-68. So Bulloch Academy in action on Friday. The Portal Panthers back in action on Saturday at 6 o'clock as they'll host Randolph Clay. We'll have highlights of both of those games for you next week. As for area high school baseball, the Statesboro Blue Devils in action on Wednesday as they were hosting Effingham County. The Bulloch Academy Gators in action Thursday as they were hosting Augusta Christian. Let's send you out for some highlights. The Bulloch Academy baseball team putting their perfect 3-0 record on the line as they host Augusta Christian. Early on in the first, Carter Hennon with the 2-run blast to straightaway center field. Bulloch Academy up 2-0. Later, up 2-1 in the third. Hennon does it again, this time to left. The 2-run shot makes it 4-1. The very next batter, Bryson Scott, he puts this one to about the exact same place. A solo shot to make it 5-1. But Augusta Christian, far from done. They show they can hit the long ball as well. Ethan Duckworth takes this one to the same popular place and left, and Augusta Christian comes all the way back to win 13-7. Over at Mill Creek, Statesboro High hosting Effingham on Wednesday. The Rebels start the scoring as Blake Hendricks singles to right. Caden Kessler scores. The Blue Devils try and come back. Landon Yates takes this one off the pitcher's leg, beats out the throw to first. And then the ground ball to third will be thrown away as the Blue Devils cut the lead to 2-1. But the Rebels proving to be too much on this night. Quinn King, the RBI, as this one's thrown away to make it 3-1. And then King will come through with the RBI single to right as Effingham wins 4-1. And that'll wrap things up for now. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.